Hello, my dear friends. How is everybody? I am great, and I'm back here. And again, I made that promise many times, but I will post a video now every 2 weeks. I set up my time and my schedule in such a way that I can do it, because it's not right for me to post a video once every few months. I shouldn't be on YouTube if this is what I'm going to do. Okay, I always compensate you, though. I give you some, let me just go in the center here. Yeah, I give you some good good videos with good information. So today I want to show you how to go through a wall, any wall, even if it's concrete, literally. And if you follow my instruction, you will actually go through a wall. But I'm not saying it's easy. But I have tested it, and it works. So I will use reality transurfing. I'll use some of the Old Testament, and mostly I'll use my original concepts. So, in order to, when I say walking through a wall, it's still creating a reality. You have to really internalize that anything you do, miracle, manifest, anything, it's a reality you create. That's very, very important to understand that, like really with all your mind and your heart and your subconscious, that anything that happens is within your reality. There is absolutely nothing out of your reality for you. There could be, everybody has a different reality. So keep in mind that anything you want to create in your life or in this universe, it's a reality you create. Okay? All right. So what I want to do in today's video, in which I'll take you on a fascinating journey, is for you to understand what is behind the control panel, those push buttons that create our reality. This is whether it's reality transurfing or Neville Goddard, they all show us these push buttons, but they don't show us what's behind. And what's behind is the wiring, is the actual black box, the system, which by pushing the buttons we activate. Okay? And I want to go into that because otherwise it's very hard to create any kind of a reality if all you know is push buttons. And if the button is not there, which most of the time it isn't, even though the book says it should be, then we get lost. But if you understand what's behind, then just like a car thief, you can short circuit the thing, with a piece of wire behind, and you don't need to push the button. So, before I start, I want to read something to you. To know and not to do is still not to know. Okay? And you understand what I'm saying. Like if you know how to short that wire, but you don't do it, it's equivalent to not knowing. The end result is the same. And after this video, you will know. Then you will have to do. And like I said, it's not easy, but it's doable. It's entirely up to you. Okay? Otherwise, you practically wasted the time watching this video, unless you like watching me, which many people tell me they do. All right, so now I actually want to read something to you. And let me just get it here. I made my screen a little bit too big, so it doesn't fit. I'll just give me a second. Okay, there we go. So I received, a message that was a while ago. I get lots of feedback from my viewers here on YouTube, and sometimes they send it to me directly. They don't post it on YouTube, and this is one of those. So this is from Satya from Bangalore, India. Namaste, sir. I am Satya Prakash from Bangalore, India. I am very grateful for you uploading these videos. Throughout my life, I have been feeling exactly what you have said in these videos. Now this is in Indian, I guess. Yad Bhava Tad Bhavati is the saying from the Upanishads, which in a sentence encapsulates the essence of what you are trying to explain in your videos. It essentially means your feeling creates your reality. I have always believed that everything depends on your definition of who you are. That is the master key. If I have to change my reality, I have to first desire something as an individual. Then I should drop all my identities and be the undefined, which is immediately setting things into motion. So for me, there are 3 stages. Believe, which reads be and live. Then because, which is be and cause. And finally, become, which is be and come. I feel it is impossible to create anything but in the state of no identity, then it can become anything. So I have felt all along that instead of creating, it is easier to become. Please let me know your thoughts on this, sir. Namaste, O divine soul. So, in essence, what he's saying is, what I say to, actually, this is what I base my teachings on with my clients, is that you cannot change reality unless you change yourself. And I will explain in this video why. So reality changes according to who you are in real time, on a every second basis. No, not even, it doesn't have to be long term. So what he's saying here is really, instead of creating, you must become. Okay, so you see, if you attempt, like most people, to change your reality, that would be equivalent, in essence, to taking a computer screen. This is not your screen, don't worry, and trying to change the picture on it by breaking it and repainting it with a new picture. This is how it would be if you try to change your reality on the reality end, because reality is really reflecting you. It's a mirror reflecting your personality at any given time. Okay, so we cannot change it by trying to change reality. We have to work on this side, what's reflected in the mirror. It's the same like that cave example. I will not go into that. So now, to understand the reason, we need to understand how reality is created. And today I'll introduce a concept that many of you, if you watch my videos, you have seen it before, but maybe we'll use it in a little bit different way. And what it is, what I normally do is, let me just bring it up here. So, this is my phone. And by the way, I switched from iPhone to Android. This is a Pixel. I've been on iPhone since smartphones were invented. I decided to twist my mind a little bit. Even though I am an Apple person, I decided to go with Android for a while. Just so I do something new. And as I teach you, you have to change things in life and continuously change and challenge yourself. Otherwise, you'll get old very quickly. So here is this phone, and there is a program where you can draw on the screen. So I'm drawing a line here, right? And I'm going to ask you a question. Did I just draw a line on the screen of my phone? And you will say yes. it's actually right there, right? Yeah. And I will say no, I did not. Because what I've really done is I moved my finger on the screen, which contains thousands and thousands of little sensors connected to the computer inside that phone, to the central processing unit, call it. And it sensed all the different points I touched with my finger, and it's programmed then to do a line or something that looks like a line. It's not a real line. Those are many thousands of little dots. And it comes and draws that line, in all the places that I touched. So I didn't really, right, draw that line. And what I'm trying to tell you here is that reality is exactly the same way. You don't create reality directly, even though it feels that way, because it looks like it's real time. You do something, you punch somebody and they get hit, and maybe they start bleeding. But no, you send a line to the collective consciousness, okay, God, whatever you want to call it, and in return, you get a reality. And that's a continuous process, okay? And that's why when you fall asleep and you dream and you don't send that line, it becomes a random line, and you are transferred to different world, supposedly, but it's not really. It's because your mind and your heart sleeping are not conscious, and they just send, random information, and this is what you get in your dream. So how is that line created? So that line is actually a combination of your mind, the will of your mind, and the will of your heart, or the soul, or consciousness, call it whatever you like, which is the infinite part of you, the part that actually is part of God, part of the collective consciousness, is your heart. And those two have to agree. And the line is really a combination of those two. And if one of them doesn't agree, then the other one cannot create the reality you want. So if your heart doesn't agree, here is a nice illustration of it. They have to really be like this. They have to work together. Otherwise, you cannot create the reality you want. That's a fundamental rule. And let me show you here a little drawing that I did. Okay. So, you see, this is the reality you create, right? And the combination is the heart and the mind. So if the heart does not agree, the mind cannot create that reality. The reality will be partially created of what you want, but most of it will come from the collective consciousness. It's not going to be the reality you want. But if you can combine those two, 100%, you will get any reality you want. And as I said earlier, you will actually be able to walk through a concrete wall, or any wall for that matter. There is absolutely no limit on what you can do. The only thing you cannot do is break some of the rules that are set in this universe, in this reality. And I talked about it in many other videos. I'll just give you an example. Aging is a rule that's set in this reality, and nobody can ever live over 120. It's impossible to destroy this world. It doesn't matter how many buttons Donald Trump or the North Korean Kim Jong is going to push. They cannot destroy this reality. That's a rule, okay? So let me give you an example from the Bible, from the Old Testament, from the Torah, okay? And this is a passage where God says to Moses, you have to fight this kings with his army, and you will win because I gave him to you. And I'll just show you the text and I'll read it. All right. So basically, this is when the Israelites are close to the land of Canaan, land of Israel. And it says here, they marched on and went up the road to Bashan. And the king Og of Bashan, with all his troops, came out to Edrei, those are places, to engage them in battle. And God, this is how God is written in Hebrew. I put it in for myself, but God said to Moses, "Do not fear him, for I give him and all his troops and his land into your hands. You shall do to him as you did to Sihon, king of the Amorites, who dwelt in Heshbon." Okay? So in essence, what I want to tell you here, and obviously this is my subjective opinion, is that God does not create miracles in the Bible. God only enables the people to use the system that he built so they can execute anything they want. But because God gives them the confidence, right? If God was talking to you, you wouldn't have a problem to unite to unite your heart and your mind. There would be absolutely no issue, right? Because God is omnipotent, and if he says something, then you cannot have any doubts. And this is why most of the miracles in the Bible, they are performed by people. Like God doesn't do it himself. Many examples, like where he tells Moses to use his staff and hit the rock and the water comes out. He could have just let the water come out. He didn't need Moses to bang on the thing. Or when Moses uses his staff in the river in Egypt and it turns into blood, or the frogs come out. It's always an act that a human performs. And because God set up the system in such a way, as soon as he enables that human can perform anything. And we are humans. So you get the point. And there's really not much difference as far as the performance and the difficulty between Moses hitting the rock with his staff and getting water, and you walking through a concrete wall. There is no difference. I would say that what Moses did actually is harder and more dangerous, because at that stage, if he didn't succeed, he would be lynched if you connected to the context in that passage, because the people were thirsty and they were mad, and they were ready to kill Moses if he didn't perform that miracle. So I'll tell you something again that's very, very, very powerful, and again, it's not easy to perform. And what it is that you can walk through a concrete wall provided your heart and mind believe that you can do it. Okay? Again, we have this thing. And I'll show you a short video here, half a minute. And I'm sure that most of you watched The Matrix more than once. And if you remember, Neo was jumping between two roofs. And he was telling himself, I believe I can do it, because he knew that if his heart and his mind will not connect, he will not be able to jump. And his friends there told him that the first time nobody ever jumps, because nobody believes that they can do it. So here is this video, this portion of it.
No problem. Free my mind. Free my mind. No problem. Right.
Yeah, so, the reason this is in the movie is, here I put my Matrix frame to match that clip. See, around my screen. This video, this movie, The Matrix, there is lots of truth in it. And I think this is also why the creators of this movie, the two brothers that became two sisters at the age of 60-something, went really, in my opinion, it's like going crazy. They lost their mind. And they lost their mind because the information that was downloaded to them, they couldn't handle it. They created the movie, but it was too much. It burned their brain. So the biggest secret is that when you do something extreme, which is totally unbelievable to you, like there's no way I can do this, there's no way I can achieve it, there's no way I can perform this, and you go and do it, the more extreme and unlikely it is to succeed for you, the more likely it will work. Okay? It's a inverted relationship here. And the question is, how do you do it? Right? Because it's very hard to do something which is extremely dangerous, say, or extremely unlikely, and you just go and do it. This is how people walk on coals in fire. Or there's many things that people perform because they believe that this is going to work. There's some magicians that do that too. They change your reality, even though they will never admit it. And we always think it's a trick, right? So the one way to do it, and this is what I use many times, is to do it so quickly that your mind or your heart does not have time to actually react and stop you. Because your mind will always find some excuse why you shouldn't do it. Oh, we'll do it next time. This is too dangerous. We don't need to do it. If you give it the time. And I use the 5-second rule by Mel Robbins. She wrote a book about it. And she says that anything you want to do and you don't want your mind to stop you, you have to do it in less than 5 seconds. So, for example, when I get out of bed and it's dark outside and it's raining and I need to go up the mountain, there's no way, if I give it more than 5 seconds, I will find many excuses. Oh, today's Wednesday and I've done it yesterday, and maybe I should make a cup of coffee and then I'll go. But if I do it within 5 seconds and I go out, I'm on my way, that's it. It's a done deal. Okay? So it may sound very simplistic, but there is that rule. It's called Occam's razor or Occam's razor, which says that the simplest things are always true, or the simplest answer to any question, the one that has the least sections to it and the least processes, is always the true one. So this is very simple and it's very true. Okay? And if you implement it, you can try it on small things, you will see that it works every time. And this is how all the miracles were performed in the Bible as well. Let me just check my time here, because I wanted to tell you some more things, but we are at 23 minutes. So I'll leave it for the next video. And the next video in 2 weeks will be about what happens after we die, and some other interesting topics. I will try to limit my videos to 20 minutes because I did some research. I have over 100 videos, turns out. I didn't even realize. And the ones that are watched the most usually are the ones that don't go over 20 minutes. Actually, my most popular video is called Reality Transurfing in 3 paragraphs. And that one is only 11 minutes and it's got almost 100,000 views. All right. So if you want to practice these things with me, I have a website called talkforlife.com. I think it's here on YouTube, and I will also put it again in the comments. You can come and talk to me. I give 30 minutes. I may cut it down a little bit because I have many of those. But right now I give 30 minutes for free for evaluation, and many friends who come for the 30 minutes, it turns out that's all they need. Because I don't use the 30 minutes to sell you anything. I usually use it to actually help you. All right. All the best again. Take care. And I will see you in the next video.